Can you hear it?
And I'm creeping round the bed. Creeping. What the fuck was that?
Forests. People camp here in search of peace. But for a handful, this peace turns into an unlucky adventure. Some walk away with nothing, and others end up capturing encounters they can't explain. Tonight, we bring you 6 of the most disturbing forest encounters caught on camera, each one recorded by explorers willing to venture where most people would never dare. November 3rd, 2025. This is the story of an outdoor creator named Gaz, the mind behind the channel Grizzly Gaz. For years, he's explored some of the eeriest and most remote corners of the UK, often with his loyal dog Fendi at his side. His videos reveal the raw reality of exploring abandoned places and forgotten landscapes, embracing both the thrill and the danger that come with it. But on one particular night, Gaz and Fendi would stumble into something so unsettling that it shattered the calm of their adventure and forced them to flee for their safety. Gaz's adventure began at a reservoir, parking his van near a place locals called the Witch's Den.
And there it is, the Witch's Den.
You ready, mate? Yeah?
You can hear the wind just whistling through those trees. I'm sure I just saw a light or maybe some eye shine. Hope there's no cows in there. There's always cows in there. Always bloody cows.
After, he and Fendi set off into the darkness, ready to investigate the legends. The air was still, the quiet broken only by the wind, but Gaz couldn't shake the unnerving feeling that someone was watching him from just out of sight. As they neared the tree line, he thought he saw a flicker of light, or the glint of eyeshine, but he chalked it up to the darkness distorting his senses.
Oh, look at it. Is that eye shine over there then? Or is my mind playing tricks on me again?
Why not do it?
Once inside the woods, the atmosphere grew heavy and oppressive. The wind whistled through the gnarled branches, and every snap of a twig put Gaz on high alert.
Cracking and stuff. Look at this, look. That's just proper creepy, that, isn't it?
Oh, I'm on edge now. Definitely on edge.
Look at that. Creepsville, Tennessee. Fucking pigeon. Always pigeons and all, isn't there?
His unease intensified as he pushed deeper, the twisted trees creating menacing shapes in the darkness. He felt a constant sense of being on edge, as if the woods themselves were holding their breath, until he stumbled upon unsettling signs of his recent activity.
Oh, here it is, I think. We found it. Yeah, check it out.
You see the 5-pointed star with bells on it hung up there. Don't think we can get in there, mate. I can't squeeze in there anyway. I'm too fat to get in there now. Getting creeped out.
He found the so-called Witch's Den, a small structure adorned with a 5-pointed star and bells that rattled in the wind. Nearby, he discovered freshly cut wood and evidence of recent campfires, yet there was no one in sight. The discoveries were puzzling and deeply unsettling. Who had been out here so recently, and where were they now?
Keep hearing stuff. Not just the wind noise, but don't know, it almost I need to get out of here before a branch falls on my head. Yeah, look, that's definitely fresh and all. Look at that. So who's been in here having campfires? See any evidence of a campfire, so oh, my ankle. Yeah, that wind's really picking up. That wind's really picking up now.
As Gaz paused to listen to the sounds of the forest, a strange, unidentifiable noise broke the silence.
What is that noise? Can you hear it?
It sounded large, almost like a dog. He turned off his flashlight, trying to pinpoint its source, and saw nothing but something about it felt wrong, and suddenly, he was certain he saw eyeshine peering at him from behind a stone wall.
Right up there, on the side of that wall. It looked pretty big as well. Hold on, where's my other torch? So it might have been whatever it was peeking round the side of that wall. It's like a T-junction there with this wall, and there's a gap between this long one here and then the one that goes along there. Well, I ain't got any tools with me. I'm sure I've just heard someone sneeze.
A wave of fear washed over him as he realized he was completely vulnerable, armed with nothing but his camera. Terrified, Gaz knew he had to get out immediately. He and Fendi retreated from the woods, the feeling of being watched following them all the way back to the van.
Oh, and we're back. Well, that was a bit of an escapade, wasn't it, mate? And I'm creeping round the bed. Creeping. What the that? I've got a light here. Something just hit my window. It sounded like the window anyway. Wow, what's that? There's an half-chewed acorn there. Wonder if a bird's just dropped it or something. Conveniently on my van.
Gaz began to settle in for the night. That's when a sharp thud struck the side of his van window. Peering out, he found a half-chewed acorn on the ground below. It could have been dropped by an animal.
Right, I can't get any signal down here, but I must have got signal as I was walking round up there. Right, I'm going to have to go and find some signal somewhere and go sort this out.
Although Gaz and Fendi remained physically unharmed, the experience left a chilling mark. Who was watching him from the darkness of the witch's den? Were they just trying to scare him off, or was there something far more sinister behind it? Whatever the truth was, one thing is certain. Gaz was lucky his instincts pushed him to leave when they did. On November 4th, 2025, Bear, the creator behind the channel Exploring with Bear, stepped into a location long whispered about for its violent energy and chilling past. For years, his courage has taken him into places most people wouldn't dare to look twice. Abandoned roads, haunted buildings, and forgotten stretches of land where the past still clings to the air. This time, Bear returned to a place known as Murder Road, a remote area notorious for being a dumping ground for multiple bodies. His objective was to locate an old oil well where the bodies of 2 young girls had been discovered.
Welcome back to another adventure. If you're new to the channel, I'm Jer Bear. For today's adventure, I've brought us back to Murder Road. This place is terrifying, and multiple bodies have been found here already. Now, the last time I was here, I was with my wife, Tiff, and it was nighttime. Needless to say, that was the very last video she's ever filmed with me. She will not go back out with me since that night. But our main focus of this adventure is going to be on the 2 young girls that was found back here, off by an oil well that we're going to go try to find right now. I also have the K2 meter and spirit box that we will start running as we get a little deeper in there. But I'm hoping to find at least the oil well and possibly the area that the 2 girls were found. Now, one of the girls came from my city. The other girl came from Pennsylvania and found in close proximity to each other, which leads me to believe it was the same person, possible serial killer.
This was a solo mission because during their last nighttime visit, the screams and sudden gunshots were enough to make his wife swear she'd never return. As he ventured deeper, he armed himself with a K2 meter and a spirit box, hoping to find answers about the tragic events that occurred here.
All right, so I got the spirit box fired up, and we'll see what kind of responses we don't get back here.
I hated my life.
It just said, I hated my life.
Black eyes.
Black eyes. I hated my life and black eyes. Earth? Buried in the earth? Under the earth?
As he fired up the spirit box, the responses were immediate and heartbreaking. The device crackled with grim messages followed by the haunting phrase suggesting someone was buried in the earth. It was a chilling start and was about to get much more personal and threatening.
Well, I don't like that.
Don't go back there.
Oh, it said don't go back there. I'm wanting to go back to the oil well. I think we're getting close too. Something just thrown? Whoop!
You saw me.
It said you saw me.
Standing behind you.
Standing behind me. Ooh. Oh, that's a weird feeling.
When Bear pushed closer to the oil well's presumed location, a clear, stern voice came through the spirit box with a direct warning, and almost immediately the spirit box delivered its most terrifying message yet, a notification that someone was standing right behind him. Bear himself could feel it, but he pressed onward, eventually discovering 2 oil wells.
Oh, there's 2 oil wells. Okay. I'm a little more curious about the one back in the woods with no road to it. Let's go check that one out. Man, that thing is riddled with bullet holes. Look at all the bullet holes. It's riddled.
Of the 2 wells, one was strangely isolated with no accessible road. Near it stood a small shed, its walls riddled with countless bullet holes, a stark testament to the violence this area had witnessed. The investigation took a terrifying turn as a sudden, close-range gunshot echoed through the trees, startling him.
Whew. Man, that gunshot was close. That scared me. I just hear a voice. I just heard a very low voice.
Listen. You can hear footsteps. You can hear something walking on 2 feet.
Not long after, he froze as he heard a very low, indiscernible voice mutter something nearby. The true horror set in when he then heard the distinct sound of footsteps, something walking on 2 feet, moving through the woods with him. He was no longer just investigating a haunted place. He was being actively followed.
Interesting. Maybe we got Bigfoot my boy out here.
Okay, so I just got off the oil well road, and we are back on main abandoned road.
It does look like the sky cleared up. It was getting dark there for a second, and I felt some raindrops. But I think that's passed already. It's nice again. I'm still a long ways from the truck, though.
Just as the tension reaches its peak, the video file comes to an abrupt and jarring end. The most critical moments of his encounter, as he was being stalked through the woods, his footage was gone forever, leaving a horrifying gap in the story. What happened in that missing time? Did he come face to face with the person or thing that was following him? The absence of footage is perhaps more terrifying than any evidence could be. Welcome to The Woods UK is a YouTube channel built on a deep love for wild camping and bushcraft. The creator, Carl, shares the quiet comfort of the British woodlands and the peace he finds in solitude. His videos are usually calm, reflective, and rooted in the simple beauty of nature. But on February 26, 2024, a series of disturbing events would shatter that tranquility, turning his beloved woods into a place filled with fear, uncertainty, and mystery. It began as a simple check on his long-term project, a small cabin he'd spent countless hours building from hand-broken pallets carried deep into the woods.
I'm glad I caught that on video, to be honest with you, and had I not been out hunting with my catapult, I probably wouldn't have come through here. I was just coming through just to check on things. I know there's a lot of deer in these woods. I did have one creepy night back in January, hence why I was building the cabin. There's a lot of strange things that happen in here. To be honest with you, that doesn't look like a lot of work that's laying on the floor there, but back at the yard, 50, 60 pallets out in the rain, breaking them down with a pallet breaker, denailing them, getting everything cut to size ready to bring in, because everything's been manually brought in by hand. It's just been on the shoulder and brought in. So,
upon arrival, he was met with a scene of complete destruction. His cabin, his sanctuary and progress, had been inexplicably wrecked. His initial shock and anger quickly gave way to a chilling question. Who or what could have done this? Determined to find answers, he decided to retrieve the footage from the 6 trail cameras he had positioned throughout the area, hoping they held the key to the mystery.
I'm absolutely shattered. I spent most of yesterday night looking through trail cam footage. Cameras 1 to 6 that are out in that woodland have been brought in, and yesterday evening I spent from about 8 o'clock all the way to early hours sifting through from camera 1 to camera 6.
After spending hours sifting through hundreds of clips of wildlife, he found something that made his blood run cold. Footage from 2 separate days showed a mysterious figure lingering near his cabin, a dark shape at night and someone in camouflage by day. With the landowner confirming no one else had permission to be there, the situation grew even more unsettling. Determined to find out who it was, he packed his gear and returned to the woods to confront the unknown.
It's got darker a lot quicker than what I thought it would, and it's drawn in pitch black, inky black. I'm almost on top of the site of cabin number 2. That is where cabin number 2 is, or was, should I say. You should all remember, it should be put together by now. I was proper agitated that someone had done this to that.
Agitation pushed him forward as dusk settled, driving him back toward the site of his ruined cabin. Suddenly, a sharp, distinct sound cut through the silence, the sound of wood splitting, as if someone nearby was chopping with an axe.
I don't know if you can hear it, I didn't see anything, but I could hear like wood splitting, like as in like someone chopping wood, like with an axe or something. Right, okay. I don't think that's got anything to do with poachers, that noise. That's pretty much what happened to me last January.
Overwhelmed by a sudden wave of fear, he retreated for the night, the unsettling sounds echoing in his mind. Determined not to be driven from his woods, he returned a few days later, this time prepared for an overnight stay.
So I'm basically going to be setting up my OEX tent right here where you see now. I have got a little gadget to set up as well tonight, just so that I can sleep a little bit better.
He set up his tent near the destroyed cabin, and taking no chances, rigged a perimeter alarm, a tripwire connected to a loud gate alarm designed to alert him to any intruder.
So this is the little gadget I'm going to be using tonight to let me know if there's anyone about after dark. It's basically a gate alarm that farmers use. It's a 1-inch cartridge, 12 bore, non-lethal. There's no way it can hurt anyone unless you actually put your face to it, which in that case there's a little plate that covers it over. I'm going to strap that to a tree and then run a trip line all the way around the immediate vicinity of my camp at about waist height. If that pin gets pulled from there because of the trip line being activated, this will let a charge off and it will hopefully either scare away whatever it is that's creeping about, and it will wake me up. So that's it, all set. If this is pulled out, that will release this trigger, which will then fall down onto the cartridge and make a loud bang. I'm now going to trace this around the trees at about waist height and then completely activate this during the night time.
As night fell and heavy rain began to pour, he settled into his tent, the sense of tension hanging thick in the air. In the dead of night, he was jolted awake. It wasn't his alarm, but a series of noises coming from the darkness outside. The distinct sound of someone walking, followed by a loud banging from about 40 yards away.
I've not got a clue what that noise was. There's about 8 different noises, sound like someone was walking around about 40 yards away. I had no bang off of the alarm, but definitely a banging in the woods.
He was left frozen in his tent, listening. The tripwire remained silent, meaning whatever was out there was keeping its distance, circling just beyond his defenses. Was it the mysterious figure from the trail cam now watching him from the shadows? The question of who destroyed his cabin and who lurks in those woods remains unanswered. While our creator's courage is undeniable, his experience is a terrifying reminder that when you step into the wilderness, you can never be entirely sure what's stepping in there with you. Meet Sam, the creator behind the YouTube channel, The Northwest Wind. His videos celebrate the quiet beauty of solo camping and the peaceful solitude of the wilderness. But one spontaneous trip to a remote property along the Allegheny River would shatter that calm, leaving him with a night he'd never forget. In early November, he arrived at a secluded 2-acre property he hoped to buy, a dream he'd held for 15 years. With a deadline approaching, he chose to spend the night there to see if the land truly felt like home.
It's the first few days of November. It's like 42 degrees and sprinkling on and off today. We're here on the banks of the Allegheny River, and I have to decide if I want to buy this property or not. They have accepted my offer. Well, not formally, but they said they would accept it if I want to move forward. So don't tell them, but I'm gonna camp here tonight and see if this feels like home. So we're gonna camp here tonight, and I'm gonna decide if this is gonna be the land that I've been looking to purchase along the Allegheny River for the last 15 years. That's been my dream, and we're gonna see if I wanna make that dream a reality now or wait for something better. That says it all.
As he set up his camp, he documented his conflicting feelings. While the location was beautiful, he felt the usable space was too confined, and something about the property just didn't sit right with him.
Tonight we're having jalapeno poppers. These are from Aldi, cream cheese jalapeno poppers. I absolutely love these. I will eat the whole box, and tonight I'm gonna eat the whole box. So, well, it was impromptu and unexpected, but I will never complain about eating another delicious meal on the shores of the Allegheny River, and I'm privileged to do so tonight. Even if I'm pretty convinced that I am not gonna buy this land. I'm picky and I haven't found anything that is hitting home.
After cooking dinner and enjoying the sunset over the river, he settled into his truck for the night. He planned to watch a movie and relax, soaking in the atmosphere one last time before making his final choice in the morning. But as the minutes ticked by, the woods began to reveal a much more sinister side.
There's a really up noise coming from the woods right now. It sounds like a woman screaming. I was sitting in my front seat with the heated seat on, warming up. It's been dark for a long time now, and it sounds like a woman screaming. Listen, I don't know what the hell that was, but that has me absolutely terrified. I'm not lying.
While sitting in his truck, he heard a horrifying sound that sounded like a woman screaming in agony. A wave of terror washed over him as he realized this was no animal. He immediately grabbed his camera, knowing he had to get out of there.
All right, we're getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. Don't like the feeling that I have. I don't like that feeling at all, so we're gonna go. We're just getting out of here. Feel very unsafe right now. Very, very unsafe. And I can't just peel out of here. I gotta come down this half mountain road. So if I need to get out of here in a pinch, I can't.
The feeling of being unsafe was overwhelming, made worse by the fact that the only way out was a long, single-lane road. He felt trapped, as if he were in a horror movie with no quick escape.
And I had to switch back to get in here. I'm head in, so I literally can't get out if I need to. I can't see anything. I don't even want to have my window open in case of any Gibraltars out there. Let's get me the out of here. And we're gonna, I don't know what the nope, not doing it, not doing it. That was a lady screaming. My doors are locked. I'm 100% sure of that. I don't even want to open my doors though. Somebody was walking down here, and it sounded like the woman screaming. Somebody was walking just beyond it.
His gut told him something was terribly wrong. Convinced he had witnessed a cry for help from a woman in severe distress, he drove a short distance away and made a decision that would escalate the night's events even further. He called the police.
Yeah, hi. I'm out in property for sale. I'm truck camping up there because I'm supposed to let them know tomorrow if I want to buy it. And I all of a sudden heard this blood scream like 50 times.
Soon after, 2 state police cruisers arrived, their presence confirming the gravity of the situation. The officers followed him back down the dark, winding road to the property, their serious demeanor adding to his growing anxiety.
I'm gonna leave my truck on, actually. This is it's fine. I'm just gonna stay here with my light. Never ready to go. They're checking out this cabin and it's making me extremely nervous.
They immediately began investigating a nearby cabin, their weapons drawn, as Sam watched from his truck, shaking. After searching the area, police told him they'd spotted another house deeper in the woods and were heading there next, and that he was free to leave.
You want me to wait, or what should I do? Okay, well, I'm gonna. Okay, well, be safe, and I wouldn't feel right if I didn't call, so whether it's nothing or something, be safe, and I just, you know. Thanks, brother. Have a good night. Be safe. I literally have no words for everything that went down this evening. I'm about halfway home. I just stopped to get gas and kind of decompress for a few minutes. My nerves are absolutely shot. I can't really add anything more to the video than what you saw and everything I described. Those police officers did seem very on guard and suspicious, not only of me, but of the situation over there. And after talking with Jessica, I just was not in the right frame of mind to understand why I felt that way.
He didn't need to be told twice. The entire experience left him completely unnerved. He had gone to the woods seeking clarity on a dream, but instead, he stumbled into a potential nightmare. The question of what, or who, was making those terrible sounds remains unanswered, a chilling mystery lost in the darkness of the Allegheny woods. For the creator behind Novice Wild Camper, wild camping is more than a hobby. It's a way to disconnect, to breathe, and to find stillness in remote, untouched places. His videos capture that serenity beautifully. But during one seemingly routine stealth camp on October 24th, 2023, something happened that shattered that sense of peace, leaving him with a night he'd struggled to shake. His adventure began in a woodland he didn't know well. He walked around for a while, looking for a quiet place, knowing there were a few houses just a short distance off. When he finally found 2 trees spaced just right, he set up his hammock and let himself relax into the quiet around him.
This is quite a nice open space up here. Could be a good spot for the hammock. Well, I think I found my spot. I'm going to hang up between these 2 trees here. There are a couple of houses, probably about 300 yards away, which I don't think own this woodland because it's got open access from the side roads. There's no signage up. So, fingers crossed we'll be alright.
As he prepared his camp, he began hearing strange noises in the surrounding woods. Not just the typical snaps of twigs, but unsettling vocalizations that he couldn't identify. Despite the growing unease, he tried to brush it off as the usual sounds of the forest at night.
Keep hearing some weird noises, and not just crunches and cracks, but weird vocal noises as well. Anyway.
Hours later, around 3 a.m., the true terror began.
But some crashing
around that got nearer and nearer and nearer to my hammock. And every time I moved or got out to check, it stopped but didn't run away. So I'd expect if there was a deer or something, I'd hear it.
He heard crashing sounds in the darkness, moving closer and closer to his hammock. Each time he shone his flashlight, the sound would stop, but whatever was out there didn't flee like a typical animal would.
A massive, massive thud hits the ground and bounces. And I jumped up, unzipped it, put my torch on, and there's a rock on the floor that wasn't there when I went to bed. And I lay back down, and I'm just laying there listening. Then another one. Then another one. This went on 3 or 4 times at least.
Suddenly, a massive thud struck the ground right next to him. When he looked, he saw a large rock that hadn't been there before.
I don't like it here. I'm getting packed up. Stuff the bacon and walls.
Terrified and realizing he was being targeted, he made the difficult decision to abandon his camp. He hastily packed his remaining gear and fled the woods for good.
Right, goodbye, freaky woods. I'm never coming back here again. In there seemed to be where most of the noise was coming from. God knows.
Was it a territorial animal, a prankster with malicious intent, or something else entirely? Fortunately, the creator trusted his instincts and escaped before finding out what would happen to those who don't. One thing is certain, he will never be returning to those haunted woods again. For our last case, we're looking at an adventurer named Austin Armstrong, a YouTube creator known for pushing himself into unfamiliar places and challenging situations. His videos follow his efforts to step outside his comfort zone, exploring new environments, and taking on experiences most people would hesitate to try. But on one particular camping trip, he found himself pushed far beyond anything he'd trained for, facing a fear he never expected to confront.
Hey guys, Woody here, and today I just decided to go camping. Now, as you can kind of sort of maybe see, it's kind of raining, but that's okay. I just went out in the middle of nowhere at this campground at Patoka Lake in Indiana. I'm the only one out here. Obviously, it's kind of cold and it's projected to get colder and it's raining. But I like a challenge whenever I camp, and I've camped in much worse weather conditions than this. So I figured, yeah, why not? So here's my little site right there. So I'm gonna make the most of what I have here and see what I can do with it.
Austin decided to go camping by himself at Patoka Lake, Indiana. Despite the cold and rainy weather, he was determined to make the most of his trip, viewing the challenging conditions as part of the adventure.
Even with the rain, there's my tent. I need to figure out how to set a fire in the wetness of what I have here. I moved this table. I'm probably gonna move it over there closer to the tent. So the tent over here is under let me just move. Under some trees. That'll protect it for the rain and stuff. I'm thinking maybe I can move the fire pit over here as well. That's underneath some of these trees. Maybe that'll make it a little bit easier. But as you can see, like, there's nobody here, which is good. That's what I was looking for. Just kind of getting away from everything. Well, I guess I can do a demonstration of how to start a fire when everything is wet, because I'm having some problems here. And
Upon arriving, he found the campground completely deserted, a fact that initially brought him a sense of peaceful solitude. He set up his tent under a tree for protection from the rain and began the arduous task of getting a fire, a struggle that would take him over an hour.
I think I did it. So I took some branches and stuff, and so if you don't know, here's a little like tip, okay? So whenever you're camping and you're trying to make a fire, make a teepee. You see how it's like in a triangle shape? You see how that? I mean, there's a reason in all the kids' TV shows that like it's a teepee, you know, like the campfire is shaped like, you know, like a pyramid or something. That's how you want to do it.
Eventually, he succeeded, and with a small but steady fire. As darkness fell completely, Austin realized he needed to gather more firewood to keep his only source of light and warmth going through the night.
It's been about 2 hours now since it stopped raining. I still need to find more wood, so I have my headlamp. I just need to find some bits and pieces just to keep it going. We're going pretty strong, but it's getting pretty thin, if you can tell, like down in the bottom of it. You can't really see anything out here, so yeah, I have this flashlight. It's got a good beam on it. So I found a stack of firewood out this way. Okay, you can kind of see that light right there. So that's an outhouse. So if I follow this light, where my light's going here, there's a former campfire that was over here, and somebody left a decent stack of firewood.
Armed with a flashlight, he ventured into the pitch-black woods. He found a stack of wood left behind at a nearby empty campsite, but as he was about to collect it, suddenly a loud boom shattered the silence, echoing through the trees.
So it was mostly wet. What the? I don't know if you guys just heard that, but like something literally just went boom over there. Holy crap.
A jolt of pure fear shot through him. He frantically scanned the darkness with his flashlight, but saw nothing.
I'm trying to find a rational explanation too. Like, maybe it was the wood. But it doesn't look any different than when I left. And I don't think that this would make that kind of sound. What was that? I hope that showed up like on the camera. Let's see that. Okay, this is better. Come on, surely there's not something out here right now. I will be upset. Hello? Oh my god. I would be so upset if there's something out here right now. But that was a very large boom and snap. It sounded like there was something like climbing through something. So it could have been an animal. But I'm praying to God that it was something collapsing in the fire. But it was very, very loud.
He tried to rationalize the noise, desperately hoping it was just a log collapsing in his fire. But deep down, he knew the sound was too loud, too violent, to be something so simple.
So, update. I found out what that crash was earlier. What it was, so I put the sign had fallen down in the middle of the road that said like, safe area, no dogs, no weapons. And so I set it up against one of the tables, like one of the camping tables. So I set it up against that because it was in the middle of the road. And I look over whenever I went out to go to the bathroom or something, and it was laying on the ground. So I was like, wait a minute. That makes sense. It was just a sign the entire time.
For a while, he convinced himself he had found the source of the noise. A large sign he had propped up earlier had fallen over. The explanation brought a wave of relief, but it was short-lived. As the night wore on and the rain began to pour again, a primal fear started to creep back in.
Alright, so here's the update. It's almost 1 a.m. and I bagged out of the tent because it's pouring and I got paranoid as hell. I'm not gonna lie. It's freaky out here by yourself. I'm not gonna lie, it's true. But that's okay. I'm warming up this the vehicle here, kind of charging my phone just in case I need to contact anything. I just figured I would be safer and warmer and better off in this van than in a tent. I don't know, it seems like common sense to me. But I'm still out here. Still going strong. I'm trying my hardest to keep going.
By 1 a.m., his nerve was completely broken. Admitting he was paranoid as hell, he abandoned his tent and locked himself inside his van. Though Austin spent the rest of the night safely in his vehicle, the terrifying question of that night remains. Was the loud boom really just a falling sign, or was that a convenient coincidence his mind clung to for comfort? Whatever the true source was, the uncertainty of that sound in the deep, dark woods is a chilling reminder that when you are truly alone, you are also completely vulnerable. And that's it for tonight's video. These 6 encounters serve as a reminder that sometimes the scariest things are the ones you hear but never see, or even the people you didn't know were out there with you. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the other stories on screen for more disturbing encounters caught on camera. Stay safe out there. And remember, the next time you step off the trail, you might not be as alone as you think.